time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule, sitting in the substitute chair here today. We got Easy in the house. Easy. What's going on, man? How are you?
What up, though?
Good to have you back here in the chair. You know the cast of characters that we have. We got Sam over in the sound booth. We got Sawyer on the ones and twos. Happy to get at it with everybody out there. And, you know how we do this. We kind of like to do the little YouTube poll thing to get things going. And I had an epiphany yesterday after I left the show. Went and had a drink with Terry Foster, so that was
Jealous?
fun. Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
You should.
No invite, by the way.
Yeah, well, everybody should be jealous of that one. But just a drink real quick. He had to go to the airport and pick somebody up, so it wasn't like it was, the bash of the century or anything like that. But anyway, after I do that, on the way home, I slide by the grocery store, do the family, fatherly duties and all that kind of stuff.
Respect.
I got a question for everybody out there, and this is what I think we're going to put on the poll today. So you guys know, we have a lot of people out sick in the world, a lot of missed work days and all that kind of stuff. Grocery stores are no exception. So the lines are pretty long. You only got a couple of, checkout lines that are open.
Yeah.
The U-scans are open and stuff like that. Now, at the local grocery store I go to, they have a 15-item limit at the U-scan. So here's what I want to know. Because I roll in, I got 30 items, okay?
In the 15-item line?
In the 15-item line. I'm doing it in the U-scan. Because the two lanes that have, cashiers there,
I'm judging you, Neil Rule.
the line goes on for miles. And it's people with, $300 worth of groceries and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I slide into the U-scan, but here's a difference. And Sawyer can tap into this because he's worked in the grocery store field before. Here's the difference. For me, I fire those things through this U-scan, man. I'm going. It's personal, right? I already know I'm behind the 8 ball because I got 30 items in a 15-item lane.
Plus, you just don't want to be there in the first place. Who wants to be at a grocery store?
1,000,000%,
Yeah.
But I'm firing through those things. So I guess our YouTube chat thread poll, and hello to everybody watching on the YouTube channel, radio, however you're doing it. We have the YouTube chat going on. Am I a jerk for taking 30 items through the 15-item self-checkout lane? However, I'm firing through those things. There's a clock going through in my head, and I wear it.
Have you seen The Longest Yard, the one with Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Brucey?
Yes.
Who thinks he's the best quarterback? What if you think you're firing through him, but you're just you're fumbling the
No,
ball,
it's-
and you're just
no,
all
it's
over
true.
the place like Brucey?
No, because I look up there, and there should be some kind of prerequisite to go through the self-checkout line. If you can't operate an ATM or something like that, you shouldn't be allowed to go
You
through
need
the
like
self-checkout.
an ID card or a scanner,
There should be some kind of testing. There should be before they let you in there. But the deal is, am I a jerk for taking 30 items through the 15-item self-checkout, even though I'm aware that I'm doing it and I feel a pressure to perform?
I gotta say, it's funny because Terry always says you're snooty. He calls you snooty and like all of those comments. And then if you're the guy taking 30 items to the 15-item line, you might be a little snooty, man. T-Foss might be onto something there, man. I think I vote jerk on that one.
No, see, Brian Phelps says I take it as a personal challenge to be as fast as possible in the U-scan. And guys, that's how I approach it too, because I am convinced that me with 30 items is still quicker than somebody else with 10. Because I'm like Brian, I take it personal when I'm in there. I feel like I'm trying to be the Usain Bolt of self-checkout.
I'm here for it, and due to the conversation before the show with Sawyer being the fastest in the Midwest at scanning over at his grocery store days, I think we should do a little challenge, man. I would watch that. You and Sawyer race through a grocery basket. I don't even know what the hell you'd call that.
Yeah, well, how about it, sir? I go to you because you worked in the grocery store before. You're an icon in the grocery store cashier game. You've said it yourself. You're high level. You were high level at what you did. So I go to you. Am I a jerk for doing that?
I wouldn't call you a jerk, no. I mean, what really got me going when I would have to do self-checkout is the people who don't understand once you press pay, you have to click debit card or cash. Then they're just standing there looking at you like I'm the idiot. I'm like, this is all your fault. Like, your negligence is just making this bad for everybody.
To be fair, though, that's a learning curve for everyone. Like, we all have that, like, first moment with it, right?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I'm working there, and I'm seeing the same people, like, who come in, like, weekly, and they're always like, this thing doesn't work. I'm like, no, it works. You just don't work. Like that's the problem.
It's not the spear, it's the Indian.
Yeah.
Mike G says, rule breaker, I was standing behind you with one item, a bottle of Gypsy vodka. You on the road, brother. I got to go. So.
And that's where I'm at, right? Like I don't do the grocery shopping. So if I am doing the grocery shopping, I don't want to be there. I don't think anybody wants to be there. It's just you have to do it literally to eat, survive, right? But, like, I'm trying to get the hell out of there. Like, if you better be fast. Like, if you're standing there with your 30 items, like, run through them. Because I'm the guy with the Gypsy vodka and the pizza rolls ready to get the hell out of there.
Tammy Chin says, I have no issues with anyone using the express lane if it isn't busy. Well, Tammy, I'm the flip side of that. Like, it's so busy. And like I said, there's only three cashier checkout lanes that are open. And look, it's not their fault. Like, it's not those cashiers' fault. They're working as hard as they can. I have a lot of respect for them because, everybody talked about when we had the lockdown and everything like that. Nobody ever talked about the grocery store workers. And you've got to remember, too, like we were in a time where we didn't know. You guys remember that, right? Because I was always a designated grocery getter. Like, my wife and kids, they never left the house. I had to go out into the wilderness and go to the grocery store and all that stuff. But you guys, you guys remember that scene, right? Where you could only go one way down an aisle and one way down the other one, and you didn't make eye contact with anybody, and nobody knew what was going on. I mean, we didn't know, right? At the time, we didn't know what was going on, and there are all the people at the grocery store, man, stocking those shelves, checking people out, everything. It was incredible. Nobody ever gave them credit.
Is that where you developed your skills? Was that where you had was like a Rocky montage in that moment, and you just developing the quick, scanning ability?
No, I just developed over the years. I've always been the grocery shopper of the family. That's just the way it's always been. Hunter-gatherer. So, that's what I want to know. So we got it on the YouTube chat thread. Am I a jerk for taking 30 items to the 15-item self-checkout? 53% say yes, 47% say no on the early returns. It's split. Bradley says, no, you're good, Neil. I do that too. Just got to be fast. But if I have alcohol or something that requires my ID to be checked, then don't do it. Well, I'm going to have a bottle of Gypsy or bourbon or what. I mean, that's just, it's always going to be that way.
Sure.
But again, like, I'm not going to be slow, though, through it. And you know what I do? And this is seasoned. And Sawyer, I want your take on this. When I do have a bottle of alcohol, I'm always going to wait to take that towards the end, so I can still scan stuff and get through everything and get everything lined up. Like, this is the thought that goes into it. Like, I'm not just some dude.
That's good. No, that's good.
And I even put stuff in my cart and I section it off to where boxes of cereal are together, like rice, walnuts, stuff like that. Everything that I can just fight, and I load these bags up, man. I load them up easy.
Is your car in handicap parking?
No. Come on, easy. Come on, man. No, bro.
Just
come
taking
on.
the handicap spot too.
No. Rob wants to know: did you buy a case of PBR? No, I did not buy a case of PBR. Gatorade, we're just going to have to accept that Neil is a rebel and can't be contained. No, but that's why I asked. I feel like I'm kind of taking on that persona a little bit. And I like to think I'm a good guy. I want people to be happy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the way of people. I want them to all be happy. But, it's just, I battle back and forth with this. And I go to the people because I want you guys to be the jury through all this. So what do you think? Are you leaning yes, I'm a jerk for doing this, or not?
I actually already voted yes, yeah.
Well, that's all right, because I voted no, so I canceled your vote out. So we're good to go.
It's like, like many people said in the chat, it depends like who's behind you. If there's people in the store, it's like, it's kind of a D-bag move. But if it's empty, then like, go for it. But you also like taught me something. I thought that those things would like, how like a Planet Fitness, our beautiful sponsor here, they have the hunk alert. I thought like once you hit that 15 like max, it'd be like like rule breaker.
Yeah.
But now I know.
Pete Smith says, do you take all the bags in at once because you have to? And we were talking about that before we went on the show. Yes. Now I said I load these bags up And I feel like I'm in the world's strongest man competition trying to get those things into the house because I'm only making one trip.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many bags I have, I'm only making one trip.
No, is that a guy thing?
Yes.
Because like the mentality, because I'm 100% that way. It's like you're competing with yourself. With the scanning too, like I do try to be fast. I just don't know if I'm fast enough to be convenient or inconvenient to the person behind me. But and then, the carrying the bag thing. Ever since I was little, I was like, yeah, you see these bags, man. It's always a little booster.
Yeah, so I'm wondering where it is with it. No, I'm not boxing out senior citizens who are trying to check out with a thing of Metamucil. No, I'm not doing that. Much respect to the senior citizens as well. I don't know. Neil's the Rick Mahorn of the scan checkout, boxing out them fools with his no, see, like it's not like that. And I don't know why it's coming off like that. Sawyer, help me out. You know where I'm coming from, right?
No, I know where you're coming from. And like Canuck Duke said it good in the YouTube comments too. It depends on the items. Like if it's 30 boxes with barcodes, you can blow through that. But if you're bringing like 30 different fruits, like you got passion fruit and dragon fruit, and you got to sit there and key the code in for every single one, that's where you're becoming the jerk. Because those 30 pieces of fruit are going to take forever.
No, they are. And I do have, we do a lot of fruits and vegetables, but I know most of the codes to all of them.
Oh, then you're just firing through.
See, and because you said that back when your cashier days, you would remember the codes to everything, and then it was game on.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you said you had some kind of award or something like that. What store were you at?
I worked at the VG's in Fenton, right off Silver Parkway, if you want to go check them out, Big groceries, I guess. I don't know. But they just, like, through signing in on your lane or whatever, it just tracks, like, your profile, So then it just keeps track of how many, like, items you scan per minute, like how long you're not scanning and all that stuff. And I was the fastest scanner for, like, 2 or 3 weeks in a row. I was just a machine, just cranking out groceries. It was a good time.
Joey 2 times GTFOH with those people clogging up the speedy checkout. But I am I will always contend this. I am faster with 30 items than the average person is with 15. Is that fair?
If we ever make this thing, if I have ever invited to that drink with you and T-Foss, and you hit the grocery store after, I'd love to make a segment where you hit like a stopwatch on there too.
Yeah, we should. Rack says, I always bring all the bags in at once, but when I lived in California in a third-floor apartment, it was real humbling. You start doing 3 floors
That's
of steps.
How I grew up. Yeah.
That is
I lived
hard.
third floor growing up. That's where I got that trait, honestly.
Joey 2 times 20 items means 20 items, MFers. So Joey's into control. See, I'm into performance. Joey's into control, and I get it. It takes all kinds. But again, we'll have the YouTube chat poll up there. Is Neil a jerk for taking 30 items? See, I feel like that's worded poorly. Like I think there should be a caveat on there. Because again,
how you told me to.
You can lead people into the answer you want sometimes by your wording. You see, I think we need like in parentheses or a star next to it that says, even though he's faster with 30 than most people are with 15.
I want to recount.
I wrote down what you said, man.
I know you did. All you do is execute, Sawyer. I've always said that. All you do is execute. We're going to talk a lot of football today.
Yeah.
As you guys know, playoff weekend.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it is on this weekend. There are tons of storylines. The Red Wings back in action tonight. Dallas Stars in town. Pistons in Utah tonight. That'll be a tough task. Jim Harbaugh news as well. I want everybody to set it in stone because I keep hearing the Michigan fans talk about that. I'm going to say it's concerning what their answers are, but there seems to be a lot of indifference. So we will discuss that. We got a lot to get to. Scott Bischoff also will be in studio here today. We'll talk NFL draft. He's a staff writer for Football Guys. And we'll talk some NFL draft because I've been trying to warm you guys up to this. And not warm you guys up to it. Just prepare you mentally for what's going to happen with one of these Detroit Lions draft picks. So everybody just get ready. I've made the case for it. We'll talk about it with Scott. So, again, we got a lot of football to get to, some NFL playoffs when we come back. But, Sawyer, we were talking about alcohol. We were talking about fun. Folding Warehouse, man, checks both boxes.
Oh, yeah. Just got to get your shoulder warmed up for this weekend. If anybody's going out there, I'm ready to whip some footballs at some pens, win some games, get a couple mystery beers going. I mean, it's such a great time. You got to go check them out at the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. You can't miss it. It's a big warehouse, multiple lanes to play at, 2 full bars. So wherever you're at in the warehouse, you can find a drink, no problem, or just get yourself a water Or, I mean, they don't serve food there, but you bring your own food in, have it Uber Eats. We know Joik likes to do that. Get some Chick-fil-A going, get some pizza coming, get some subs. Whatever you want to create your own adventure over there at the Fulling Warehouse. You can show up when they open, pay $10, play unlimited play all day, open to close until you get tired. Throw till your arm falls off, man. You might as well do it. You got the arm. You're just using it to work all day. Might as well have some fun, throw some footballs and stuff.
Amen.
And then you go to the bar if you want to loosen up a little bit, have a little fun. You don't want to make a decision on what beer to get. I know that's hard because they have over 100 beers. It gets overwhelming. I don't know what to get. So I just let the machine do it for me. I go to the mystery beer machine. I give them my $2, and I just say, tell me what to drink, machine. I need it. And it gives me a PBR. It gives me an Old Milwaukee. It gave Braylon a Colt 45. So the machine works. Their algorithm in the mystery beer machine, it works. It gives you what you want to drink. It's delicious stuff. 3 for 3 on that at the Woodward Sports event. I mean, everybody was having a great time. We did get an update, though, from our champions, which is tragic. They partied a little too hard, broke the trophy. So Braylon and Ryan, we're going to need you guys to fix that for next year's. It's a bummer.
I think they turned into a flash.
We thought our champions had a little higher standard, but it's a bummer. We'll have to get her fixed. But, yeah, all you guys got to do is go to the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. Go to thefullingwarehouse.com. This is Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. We got Neil Rule, easy on the desk filling in today. Sam in the audio booth making sure we sound good. And I'm over here in the TD booth just topping it up. We'll be right back.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Off and running, Big D Energy here on a Friday. My name is Neil Rule. Easy in the house today, filling in for D-Mac and Joik. We got Sam. We got Sawyer. You guys already know Dom Rivera in our YouTube chat thread says that's just disrespect, Sawyer, the trophy situation.
I was heartbroken. I love Fulling, and I love the competition we had there, but just to see the trophy broken like that and ran through the mud.
I was not able to make it. I had another media obligation I had to be to. Who won again?
It was Braylon Edwards and Ryan Hermani. Hermione.
There's some beef there, man.
Who did they beat in the championship match?
I believe it was two sponsors. Yeah, Jason from Guardian Alarm and
Christina.
Yeah.
They didn't even lay down for the sponsors. Man, they don't know what.
Well, hey, it's
savage.
It's better than Joik. Joik tried to force himself into the championship game. He showed up late, and then he was like, "Who am I playing?" Huh? Yeah, and then he just wrote himself into the championship. We're like, "No." He goes, "What do you mean? I need to play." And we're like, "Yeah, but we've already started." He goes, "Okay, I'll just play here." Like, no, it's the championship, dude. Like, what?
That was
so funny.
That was the most Joik
yeah,
moment.
It's the most Joik thing ever. It's so funny.
No, but NFL playoffs this weekend, and there are a ton of storylines with all these football games, and obviously we're going to jump into them. Don't forget Scott Bischoff coming up in just a little bit. We'll have some NFL draft talk. I'm going to ask Scott what I've been telling you guys to prepare yourself mentally for something that I think the Lions are going to do. But the Bengals and the Titans this weekend, 3.5-point favorite are the Tennessee Titans. And, Easy, I think that there's a lot of people that are saying, the Bengals are a very chic pick, that they're somebody that they expect to maybe have one of those upsets coming in. So I guess my question, Easy, to you is, why don't the Titans seem to be getting a lot of respect? Because they are the 1 seed in the AFC. They do have Derrick Henry ready to rock and roll. I mean, the prescription for the Titans, what they're going to do. They're going to come out there and run the football. Why aren't the Titans get a little more respect? They're almost like an afterthought.
They are. I mean, even when they're coming into the playoffs as the 1 seed, everyone felt like really? Like what? Like the Titans? It was like, are we sure? Like, are we allowed to do that? Like, it was like a weird thing when they end up being the number 1 seed, but they're there, man. And Mike Vrabel, man, coach of the year, honestly. He lost his MVP candidate and still made the playoffs, let alone the 1 seed. Like, phenomenal job. But when you look at the numbers, they rank at bottom half of the league in passing defense. And what's the Bengals' bread and butter? Is Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Higgins. They slang that thing, man, and that's their strength. Joe seems calm as hell. Like, he won his first playoff game, only his second year. He's interviewing, and he's just like, Yeah, like we're ready for the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be ecstatic, man. Like, you just turn the franchise around. But no, man, he's about his business. Their weakness is the passing defense, and that's their strength. So I see it, man. I actually picked on the Heavyweights podcast. I picked the Bengals.
And there are some love. Dom Rivera says, I picked all upsets for $20, $700 payout. Hope you have that lined up on mybookie.ag, Dom, where you could have got some deposit matching going on all the way up to $1,000. But it's weird to me, and a lot of people are talking about Dragon Mead beer, Final Absolution, which I am a proponent of, but that's not something to be taken lightly. If you're gonna be drinking Final Absolution beer, you need to make sure your calendar's clear for the next couple hours. You know what I'm saying? But no, we are talking NFL playoffs, and Joe Burrow, and I'm a big Joe Burrow guy. I was when he was at LSU. People get behind him. Players get behind him. He commands respect, I think, and it shows. It certainly shows. And he is a weapon, but are they ready for that? Are they ready to go on the road to the 1 seed, to look across the line at Derrick Henry? And I know you say, as on a YouTube channel right now, showing those clips of Derrick Henry in practice. I mean, are the Bengals ready for that kind of smoke, though, Easy? I guess that's my main question.
And that's like where the concern is. But like from this, like everything he's shown, the stature, the attitude, the moment, he's risen, man.
I know, but that dude, 22, is out there for the Titans. And I know that's not Burrow's concern.
Yeah.
But still, man, I feel like people are sleeping on the Titans. They're the 1 seed, man.
They're definitely slept on, 100%. I'm picking the Bengals. I know that I'm sleeping on the Titans. I can't. It just feels weird saying it. I mean, do you not feel weird like the Titans are the number 1 seed? Is that not like how the hell they even make it there?
Yeah. What do you got, Sam?
I think the reason the Titans are being slept on is actually very simple. Ryan Tannehill is their quarterback. He's the worst quarterback in the playoffs, and he did not have a very good year at all.
Which I get. Like, I understand that. But you look up, and they are the 1 seed. I mean, somehow, if he was so awful, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. Like, the numbers aren't astounding. This is one of the biggest storylines to me in the AFC, though. Just everyone is asleep on the Titans.
And with Derrick Henry, you don't have to rely on Tannehill to be a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You just shove the ball off to this. Is he a human? I mean, I don't know what you call Derrick Henry at this point. The fact that he's come back just in time for the playoffs after a foot injury is like pretty impressive. And that's maybe a factor too, man. Like, do we know he's ready to bang? You know,
Derrick Henry's always ready to bang.
That's very true.
Come on, who are you talking about here? He's the king. He's the king of being ready to bang. Underdog's getting all kinds of love in our YouTube chat thread. Mike says Derrick Henry would destroy Neil's 30 items in the Oklahoma draw. I'd square up with Derrick Henry at the U-Scan checkout. Not like if there was like an Oklahoma drill for scanning groceries or something like that. I would definitely square up. Bradley, I kind of like all the underdogs this weekend, at least with the spread. I feel like I'm missing something. You know, it is crazy. And Zaquat says the same thing that you say. It's because Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Is it that simple?
For me, it's their defense. The defense and the passing attack of the Bengals. Like with the Bengals, like they go off at any time. And like Joe Burrow had a big situation, a big moment game against the Chiefs. Now, granted, it was at home, but he rose to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? And him and Jamar Chase made them look like fools. And they got that chemistry where I think, and the championship pedigree too, back at LSU. Like, I think they're ready to do the damn thing.
So you're in. You're all in.
I'm not all in. I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised. You know?
Oh, that way to have a great take, Easy.
Thanks, man.
I love it. I don't know that the Bengals will have the football enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you said it well when you said ready to bang.
Yeah.
I 100% think that Derrick Henry's ready to bang.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw the clips that Sawyer was playing of him at he's got that bounce to the step. You know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on him. And I pulled up Tannehill's numbers. I wasn't 100% versed in them. They aren't pretty, man. 21 touchdowns, 14 picks. But,
like I said.
Yeah, but they are at home. And I know the Bengals, look, the clock's now for the Bengals, by the way, because I've always talked about the fact, and Sawyer, you remember earlier in the season where when I was talking about franchises, like football franchises, I would love to be a fan of right now, or would love for them to be my team. You have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase combined for like $17 million for the next 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's cheating, man, how they have that set up.
Mm-hmm.
But are they ready to do that? Are they ready to go into Tennessee, the number 1 seed in the AFC, with all the chips in the middle of the table. I know they got the win over the Raiders, but still, I mean, people forget.
It's the Raiders.
And the Raiders had the ball with a chance. They were there. The Raiders had the ball with a chance. It would have been interesting to see, would they have gone for 2 and gone for the win?
They got Joe Mixon too, though. I guess I wouldn't count him out as the equation for a win for the Bengals as well. Like Joe Mixon, that's one of the things that travels with you, right? Is your defense and your run game. Joe Mixon, one of the better running backs in the league, and that's hopefully they're able to utilize him. Like I'm not discounting Mike Vrabel and what he's been able to do because it's truly amazing. And like for him to get a piece like Derrick Henry back, you're gonna have to like show respect to them. And that's why I'm not saying like for certain in stone that the Bengals are gonna beat them, but that's just how I see the game playing out.
Yeah, Lions Rumble 81 says Julio Jones in all caps, and that's a dude, too. I know. And look, is he Julio Jones from 5 years ago? No, he's not. But he's still out there, and he's still a dude. Mm-hmm. And plus, too, I'm curious to see, guys like Julio Jones, who there was a stretch, I think, where he was probably the best receiver in football. Is that fair? Like, I'm not being crazy.
No, you're not crazy.
I always am intrigued, and I would love to ask Julio Jones if we were sitting having a drink one time. I would love to ask him, Julio, just between you and I. Like Jamar Chase obviously is great, but all that shine and all that love he gets, and granted he's great. Do you have a little extra cheese on the burger this weekend? You know what I'm saying? Like does that drive you a little bit?
I think you gotta. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But I just again back to Ryan Tannehill. Like, can he utilize a Julio Jones? You know what I'm saying? Like, does he have the abilities to exercise what Julio Jones is great at, which is like going deep, jumping over 50 people for the ball? Like, I don't know that Ryan Tannehill's that guy for you.
Yeah.
You're not that guy, pal.
Not that guy, buddy. So, yeah, I mean, just for me, it's where I think the Titans are being looked over, and I think that the Titans are going to win the football game. And I just don't know that the Bengals are ready for that yet. Now, this could be the thing. They get that experience, and it happens, and then next year they're ready to ride. I think it's where a young team like that would need to be at home, and the Titans are veterans, and they've been knocking on the door for a while. And, with Derrick Henry, his salary situation, what are they going to do? And now they've proven they can win football games without him, but you can't tell me you're not a better team with Derrick Henry.
Facts. Just having him back there, like as a defense, you have to acknowledge that Derrick Henry's there, and you're gonna have to drop somebody in that box. You have to fill all those gaps. Like just even as a decoy, he's been so great. It's like Calvin Johnson-esque, where you just have him on the field and alters the game plan and opens stuff up for other people.
Yeah. Lions Rumble 81. Julio and Brown and Henry, the Bengals are in trouble. And when you start breaking it down name by name like that, you're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk through this.
Yeah. But you said the names, right? But you look at the numbers. Like I'm looking at Julio Jones right now. Like 10 games played, 1 touchdown in the entire year. Like Ryan Tannehill is not the guy like to utilize those types of receivers. I mean, we'll see. I like A.J. Brown a lot too. I like A.J. Brown. I think he's more dangerous in this game than Julio, if I'm being completely honest with you. Because again, like you said, Julio's not the same Julio.
No, I get it. He's not. But I wonder if he's got it in the tank. For another one. I wonder if he's gonna take it personally.
I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as
I ever was, man. That's been my motto in life, through my 30s. That was my official theme song. Lady Jane's my official haircut as well. We're a simple bunch. Like football, 5 days a week, playoff football, especially on the weekend. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. This weekend, you can walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you're handsome and clean. You sit down, get your haircut, watch some NFL playoff action. It's really a great experience. 10 to 8, 7 days a week. As we said, walk in anytime and look. You're not going to walk in and they're going to say, hey, can you come back at 4:30 when it's 1 o'clock? Or, hey, we'll get to you in 50 minutes. Don't work like that at Lady Jane's. It's simple. Roll in, sign in, sit down, boom, your hair is cut. You're ready to roll. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
On and poppin', Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, easy here, filling in for D-Mac and Joyke. I'll be back in action with D-Mac, Terry Foster, next Monday as well. We got Sawyer, we got Sam. You know how we roll out here, and as promised, right now we are joined by staff writer for the Football Guys. If you're going to talk NFL draft, this is the dude. Yeah, social media will tell you that. When you talk with them, he'll tell you that as well. Scott Bischoff here with us today. And Scott, appreciate you taking some time. Look, you cover draft as well as anybody, anybody out there, anybody popping. I don't want to say are you surprised, but have you noticed earlier and earlier, as soon as teams are eliminated in that market, boom, it's instant draft time. Have you noticed that?
For many years, yeah. Especially in this
it's getting earlier and earlier, though,
Generally speaking, it used to be Senior Bowl was like the point where everybody jumped into draft stuff. But, yeah, I mean, it's earlier. Some cities it's earlier than others.
Yeah.
It's been getting earlier and earlier here. There is no doubt about that. So I guess my first question to you, Scott, about it is how do you see this situation? Because there seems to be maybe a trick from Jacksonville aside, there seems to be kind of a universal 1-2. I'm not saying that there's a universal valuing at 1-2, but the 1-2 seems to be the Aidan Hutchinson, Thibodeaux discussion. How do you see that? I know it's early, and we haven't done combine stuff or anything like that. What's your gut say right now about how the Jacksonville Jaguars will look at that?
Well, I think we need to recognize that Jacksonville probably is not looking at pass rusher right now at one. I think it would almost be malfeasance for them, and it depends on who ends up making the picks. And I know it's Trent Baalke right now, and I don't know exactly what it's going to look like for them, but and they need to protect Trevor Lawrence. They really need to give him some help. The truth about Trevor Lawrence is that he didn't really, as a college player, there wasn't a lot of growth with him as a player at Clemson, and that was on display in year one in a very dysfunctional, setting with Urban Meyer and everything that happened there. But they need to give him some help. They have Cam Robinson, who they gave a one-year contract to, and he's an average tackle. I don't know that they're going to pay him again. They have Juwan Taylor playing right tackle for them for one more year, and it just seems unreasonable with the first pick and a player like Evan Neal available, who I think will likely be the first tackle taken. I think there's going to be some discussion about that. Mm-hmm. But to me, it seems like we need to recognize that it's likely tackle going at 1 overall, and if it's not, it's because they don't like one of those tackles. And then it's a matter of Hutchinson and Thibodeaux are just different guys. They do different things. And Jacksonville has Josh Allen they took a few years ago out of Kentucky, and he's more of your speed rush type. Right. So I would think that if they don't go tackle, it's probably Hutchinson because he pairs better with what they have, which is the exact same thing you can say about the Lions. The Lions have Charles Harris. They have Romeo Okwara hopefully coming back. You need a bigger sort of glass-eating defensive end who can do a bunch of things, and to me that's Hutchinson. But having said that, if Thibodeaux ends up a Lion, I think everybody should be beyond thrilled about what he is as a player.
Let me follow up on that with you too, Scott, because here's how I've kind of viewed this with the Hutchinson-Thibodeaux debate. My gut, my feel, just for watching, I'm the untrained eye, you've probably forgotten more about NFL draft stuff than I know, but my gut, my feel is, my concern is this Hutchinson ceiling, to whereas with Thibodeaux, and this might be a little NBA drafty of me, Thibodeaux ceiling, I don't think we know what it's going to be. And that's what intrigues me with Thibodeaux is you think you know, but you don't know. And I'm concerned Hutchinson's at his ceiling right now. What's your take on that?
I think you've nailed it. I really do. Because when you look at Hutchinson, he does have really good hand usage. He plays very physically. He does, he's a well coached player with a pretty diverse skill set. Where with Thibodeaux, it's as a pass rusher, he's beating you with speed and quickness or power. And there's not a lot else to what he has going on. And right now, that's good enough. I mean, Thibodeau's a very effective pass rusher. I know there's some conversation about stats and all that stuff, but in the end, when you look at pass rush productivity and just the number of pressures that you're generating, he's right up there with Hutchinson, and he's doing it really not. I don't want to say raw, but there's not a lot outside of his game outside of power or speed and quickness.
Yeah, ability, and athletic ability, right?
Yeah, and the thing that he does that Hutchinson, I don't know that he can do, is the way he bends and flattens around the corner. So
insane.
You're looking at, I hate to say this is ridiculous to say, but you're looking a little bit like a Von Miller type player in Thibodeaux, the way he turns the corner and the way you're going to play him as more of a stand-up 2-point pass rusher, as opposed to a guy that you can line up and play more power, ask him to set the edge, right? Just be a more well-rounded player, but like you said, probably with a lesser ceiling. So to me, I'm swinging for the fences there, because I think if you get Thibodeaux and you complete his game, his ceiling is higher than Hutchinson. It's probably blasphemous to say it here, but
don't worry, they'll light you up in the YouTube chat.
Whatever, it's good. It's a feeling right now, and it's a vibe just watching Thibodeaux play. And it's not just this year or last year. I mean, Thibodeaux's been kind of a game wrecker for a while, and I know that people are going to look at this year's stats. Pretty bad ankle injury in week 1. We have to dismiss some of that stuff and just look at the traits and the things that he does well. And it's not a knock on Hutchinson. Hutchinson's a great football player, but I think he's a more complete player entering the NFL than Thibodeaux is. I do.
With Hutchinson, I think I agree too. I think like he is what he is like now. I don't know if he'll get like much better than that. And also, I don't think he fits our scheme. But what we saw out of him in the Georgia game, what do you make of that? Because there's some like the SEC tackles, like that's some NFL like talent there too. Like, was that scheming? Like what happened there? Why didn't we see?
I think there's a lot of slide protections and chips happening in that game. Georgia recognized what he was. So I mean, if every time you snap the ball, you're sliding your protection to a certain player, it makes it much more difficult for him to generate pressures. He looked frustrated to me in that game because of the way it was going. I understand it, and I'm sure he was frustrated they were losing the way they were, and they were kind of getting tossed around a little bit. It's interesting to me that people say that this is not about you, but people talk about Hutchinson in the Georgia game. But has anybody said anything about Ojabo in the Georgia game?
Well, that was what I was going to ask you too. Like, how much of like Hutchinson is Ojabo as well? You know what I'm saying? Like the pairing of the two.
Ojabo doesn't really play much against the run.
Right.
He just doesn't.
He's
more
a designated hitter.
He is, without a doubt. I mean, he is a
setup guy.
Go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
In year 1, he is a third down pass rusher that you hope you're getting something from. Super high ceiling because of his athleticism, but I don't think there's. Hutchinson's just a much more complete football player.
But I'm saying how much of Hutchinson's success this year attributes to having Ojabo on the other side of the line and being a nuisance as well. And kind of vice versa for both guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but it's not like teams weren't. It's not like teams were ignoring Hutchinson and chipping Ojabo and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, look at the way Ohio State played Michigan and what. I mean, Hutchinson had a huge game there, and I think that's the coming out party for him. But he was double teamed a lot in that game, and in the moments where they did single him up, you could see what he can do, right? And so, there's a part of that it's hard to ignore. They had 2 elite pass rushers, and they both were pretty productive at times.
Yeah,
it's a good thought.
We're joined here by Scott Bischoff. He's a staff writer for The Football Guys, one of the most knowledgeable draft people, I think, in this city. Been a fan of his work for a very, very long time. Happy to have him with us.
Thank you. Wow.
In studio. No, I mean,
who knew?
well, Scott, I mean, that's real. Like, I have
my favorite.
I have a lot of respect for people that are not just, it's not about a presentation, you know what I'm saying? Like there's steak to your meal, like there's steak and it's seasoned steak, and there's potatoes, and there's a vegetable too. Like it's a complete meal. Talking football.
Don't forget the ice cream.
Don't forget the ice cream. Follow him on Twitter at Bischoff_Scott. The Twitter handle is on the graphic as well. But we're talking NFL draft, and like I knew this was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen too. Mr. Thomas on a YouTube chat thread says Von Miller. That's a high bar. That's a big-time name.
Yeah, it's more style. I'm not saying that he's going to come in.
No. You said it. That's it. It's Von Miller. I'm just kidding with you.
Damn.
Yeah, I did it. I stepped in that one. No, it's more stylistic. It's
Sure.
just the ability for him to turn the corner, kind of run under your kitchen table, which is nuts.
It's crazy to watch. It's literally like you see. I don't know if you like watch some of the film, but he just literally just runs past the tackles.
Yes,
at
and then
times.
he dips his shoulder,
Yeah.
and it's reducing the surface area for a tackle to have to be able to touch him, but also forcing them to bend at their waist where they're no longer powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And when players can dip as low as he can, I mean, think about trying to block somebody who's going to run under your kitchen table and turn the corner on you. And if you're a big, huge dude who's a little bit stiff, what do you? Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's he can do those things.
speaking of kitchen table, like utensils, right? Like Von Miller uses the hands. He has the hand placement and stuff like that. Is there a guy like Thibodeaux who never really used like hand work or swim moves and stuff like that developed that in the NFL, became a premier pass rusher? Because that's the thing that worries about me is I don't see him put his hands on guys. I just see like pure athleticism.
Yes, and
success.
so that's kind of like you can see like players like Vic Beasley, who was drafted to the Falcons a few years ago, just a rocket ship, coming off the line, but no desire to use his hands at all. And if an NFL offensive tackle got his hands on him, the play was over for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of.
But Thibodeaux is not passive the way he plays. It's not just that he's this athletic dude. You can see, like, there's the highlight of Hutchinson planting the Ohio State left tackle on his butt in that game, and you can see Thibodeaux do that. He does it to USC's left tackle a bunch in that matchup. So it's not just that he's speed and quickness and all that stuff. He's very powerful, and he's very willing to use it. You can watch him defend the run. You can see him take on pulling guards and stone them in their tracks and then make tackles. So some of that stuff with him, I don't know that I think is an issue as much as he needs to learn maybe a third pass rush move, whether it's a spin move or something else. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see him as a passive football player who shrinks through contact at all. At all. He's not that.
What moves does he have in his repertoire as of now, would you say?
He has bull rush, which is power, and speed. That's really what you're seeing from him.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good start.
It's good enough for where he's playing and what he's doing, and he's electric at what he does do. Now, if you're telling me that he is going to develop an arsenal of hand usage and moves, and you're doing that with the speed and quickness he has, look out.
Scott,
That's why I draft him.
You got time for another segment? Stick around with us.
I have time for many more. If that's fine.
Hell yeah.
No, absolutely.
That's what I
Because
wanted to hear.
everyone's
all day.
intrigued, right? Because
Yeah.
it's with the Lions, it's what it is. It's what it's going to be. And this is a huge draft that could be franchise defining, could your tenure defining for Brad Holmes and everything like that. Especially given the the little how we've been tantalized with the Amon-Ra St. Browns and the Aleem McNeils and stuff like that. So certainly do want to pick your brain a little bit more. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership, they run a special right now, $0 down, just $10 a month. They also have a black card option available as well, $22.99 per month. You get the tanning, the hydro massage chairs, all that stuff is available to you. But for me, anyway, bigger than that, access to over 2,000 locations worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. You can join in club or join online today at www.planetfitness.com. Newly open in Midtown Detroit at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. As we said, right now, $0 down, $10 a month. Go to planetfitness.com. Join today. And in my opinion, one of the best gyms going out there. I work out there myself. I love it. Recommend that you do too. It's Planet Fitness. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
And a miraculous catch. Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, easy in for D-Mac and Joik, Sam and Sawyer as well. Continue to be joined in studio here by Scott Bischoff. He's a staff writer for the Football Guys, draft expert, one of the very best in this town, and we're happy to have him here today. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Bischoff_Scott. You hear him breaking it down. You know, there's no substitute for the knowledge that he brings to the party. But Scott, here's the thing with me, and I've been... We got some breaking news real quick. Corey's
what
do we got, Corey?
I don't know if this is going to affect you guys' talk or not, but Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network says the New York Giants are hiring Bills assistant GM Joe Schoen as their next GM, and they're about to go ahead and get the deal together, and I guess that's going to mean looking for the coach and everything like that. But breaking news... Not have a draft talk.
No. Well, hey, I guess somewhere down the line, that whole GM situation is going to play out in the draft as far as the Giants are concerned. But Scott, I did want to run this by you, and I've been prepping our audience and prepping Lions fans for this because, in my opinion, I think the possibility is very, very real. You could see the Lions take a quarterback with that Rams pick, with that pick at the top of the second round, and taking the players out of it, taking the particular quarterbacks out of it. For me, I'm a big salary cap guy, big draft guy, and stuff like that. The ideology behind it, you get such a discount to market when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract. If you look around the league, that's the ticket. And what happens, Scott, to these teams when these quarterbacks do enter in to these huge contract years? I mean, outside of Aaron Rodgers, even Tom Brady takes a discount, so that doesn't really count. But Russell Wilson, what's kind of happened to the Seahawks? You look around Patrick Mahomes, we may see this with the Chiefs coming up in a couple years. It's such a discount to market that the possibility not only is very real, I think it will happen, where you may see the Lions take a quarterback with one of those two picks. You know, where do you stand on that?
I mean, it's a very real thing. Also, the fifth-year option, which is a huge deal, taking a quarterback late in round one. It's just a matter of, is there a player they value at that point?
Right.
And the fear or worry I have is that it's not necessarily somebody they want to take late in round one, that it might be somebody they fall in love with that nobody's talking about right now, that they end up taking it to.
And Scott, that's where it is, because you see this everywhere, and you've been around many NFL drafts. These quarterbacks, you're starting to see them slowly tick up the draft board. You know, Malik Willis is a guy. The tools, everybody kind of falls in love with it. And again, it's such a discount to market that they might even be overvalued as far as when they're picked. But this is a revolution, I think, that's going on financially in the NFL, where that gives you your biggest leg up because they are so valuable, not from the talent standpoint, just based on the contract situation. Yeah. And you're going to see this. Don't be surprised. Everyone tells me, oh, it's a crappy year for quarterbacks. Oh, of course, the Lions have the second pick when it's a crappy year for quarterbacks. Nope. Don't be shocked when 3 of the first 11 guys taken are quarterbacks, because it could happen.
And that's the thing for me, too, because you know me, Scott. I text you all the time about my guy Kyle Hamilton. And the only reason why he's not a number 2 pick is because of that draft value. And that has to do, I feel like, as the contract of like an edge rusher and stuff like that.
He would have to, I mean, if you're taking a safety at 2, we'll get back to the quarterback.
Sure.
We could spend a lot of time on that. and I think there is a quarterback, a specific name, who is going to blow up at the Senior Bowl, Sam Howell. And people need to ready. The chat's going to blow up.
Yeah, thanks, man. Now I just got 100 messages here.
Yeah,
thanks.
But people need to prepare themselves for this. This is a huge-armed kid who has as much moxie as you could have, a very athletic player, unbelievable balance, tough to bring down in the open field. Kind of did it all for North Carolina last year. 2 years ago, if you want to watch him as a player, you need to watch him 2 years ago when they had De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome.
The cast,
and there's just a lot more there. Last year it was, he had 15 to 20 carries a game just because they had nothing else going on.
Right.
But in terms of the Senior Bowl itself and the Lions coaching him, he is going to look every bit the part. He just is. And teams have fallen for that in the past. I mean, I remember seeing Carson Wentz live and in person and thinking, wow, this is real. And the same thing with Baker Mayfield. This is real. And the same thing with Justin Herbert. Wow, this is real. and Howell's he's gonna look just like that.
And that's the Justin Herbert name you bring up, because that's kind of reminiscent to me. His last year at Oregon, I would watch a lot of the games, and I would be like, "Wow, this is it? Like this is what I was told is the next coming and everything like that." Like this he's throwing. And I did shows and talked about that. I'm like, "Oh, the savior, Justin Herbert, another 191-yard game today."
Yeah, but he was throwing to me and you and easy. No offense, you'd be the tight end. Yeah. But like, sorry, there's that is such a dependent position,
right.
And so you can make you can talk about Malik Willis, and the same thing needs to be said for Sam Howell. It's like there's really very little last year that he had, and he carried that team. That's why you got to go back and look at 2 years ago. And I think you're looking at, with Howell, you're looking at a player who I would tell you, based on what I'm seeing, I think he understands what defenses are trying to do, and I think he gets it at a level to which some of the quarterbacks who went early last year didn't, if that makes sense. I think that there were issues with Zach Wilson's ability to read things. And Trey Lance was a very much not an unknown, but he's going to have to grow as a player. Justin Fields, same kind of stuff. Mac Jones is where I would talk about Howell as far as like a processor, where you can see him getting it and understanding things. It's just he's Mac Jones with a much more athletic body and a significantly bigger arm. So if you're looking at what Mac Jones does as a rookie, and you think of Howell as a player who's like that, just with a much bigger set of tools in terms of how he throws the ball, how the ball comes out, and then running, I think you can understand why I think that the Lions, I'm not going to say could fall in the trap, but the Senior Bowl this year is literally, it's a gold mine. It always is for
right.
coaches, but it's got a trap door, and the trap door is falling for a quarterback. And I think Lions fans need to prepare themselves for the idea that coming out of the Senior Bowl, there's going to be a lot of talk about the Lions and Sam Howell. And it's terrifying.
Right.
Because nobody wants them to take a quarterback at 2. I don't. No. But I don't think it's completely unreasonable to think they could. Late in round 1, absolutely. Take a quarterback.
You want to step to the crap table and roll the dice and
you need to hit that
happens?
Position more than once. I mean, that was the beauty about the Stafford trade, was that it gave you the opportunity to go ahead and maybe enter the quarterback market more than one time. Most teams, they just don't have that chance. The Lions do. They hit it with Goff. They could hit it again this year if they choose to. They could wait and do it next year.
Jake Wegener says Howell equals Trubisky 2.0. Hashtag stay out. Then there's a lot of talk about. Mike says, "Don't take no fools from North Carolina. Trubisky, Ebron, ugh."
Ooh.
And that's got no bearing on
Javonte Williams
anything.
went to North Carolina. People seem to love him. I don't know.
Does that infatuation only happen at the Senior Bowl, or can that happen with other teams as well, to where the number 2 pick becomes a trade asset?
Oh, it absolutely could. It absolutely. And nobody's talking about it because like Neil, like you said, it's been cast as a bad quarterback class, and in some ways, it's not at all like it was last year. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a player worthy of it. Now, do I think that Howell's going to walk away from the Senior Bowl and be coveted and thought of as a top 5 player who might garner some trade interest for a team, wanting to? I don't know that they have to come up to 2, because teams drafting after the Lions aren't taking quarterback. But you know what I'm saying? Like I think he's worthy of it in terms of what he is as a player and what he presents as a prospect. In terms of what we saw get drafted very early last year, I just think we need to recognize that it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of like when Neil was talking about with it being a quarterback, the term draft value, like how I want Hamilton, like that's my guy.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a contract thing? Is that why draft value is a thing? Like kind of. What
well, I think there's some of that. Like I want to say, the number 2 pick is going to have like a $7.5 million cap hit. And that's going to place him immediately in and around the top 10 safeties paid in the entire NFL. So are you getting value from that player even if he becomes a good starter for you? And the answer is probably not a lot of value. But you sure are if you're taking an edge rusher. Because if you look at how much edge rushers get paid, having Aidan
on the
Hutchinson
market,
at $7.5 million for 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, in the 5th year, or Thibodeaux, there's value there.
And I think, Scott, that plays into my point where I was talking about those are the two, and to some degree offensive tackle as well. I think that's why we've seen the advent of not only the quarterback, but the edge rusher and the offensive tackle, just based on the market of what all pro guys at that position make. I think that's had as much to do with the change in the draft valuations over the last 5 years, or maybe since the salary cap came in. I think that it's not just the talent or the players, it's the money. Let's bottom line.
Absolutely, and it's why teams reach on quarterback in round 1. It's also why teams ignore running back through, realistically the middle of round 2, because there's not a lot of value to be had with that player or that position, which I know Joy hated me for saying it, but it's true.
No, it's true.
It is.
He's just bitter because the running backs don't make any money anymore.
But they're so valuable. It's just, you can find them. You can find them.
Craig Reynolds off the streets this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Hamilton, so Hamilton's interesting because the stuff that he does well, he does incredibly well, and it's rare. And I think that if you're looking at a safety with the second pick, he needs to be a complete stud everywhere. And there are some things that he does not do well. There's one thing that he does not do well, and that's if you ask him to come up and play over a quick slot receiver, he struggles there. And I think some of that, and this, I have to really watch what I say here because I'm not the opinion's not totally formed, but I think it's because his stride is really long legs, and it's one of the reasons why he makes such incredible plays down the field.
Oh my God!
Because he unlocks that stride and his instincts, and I think he's one of those players who just does nothing but watches film, because there are moments where it's like he knows exactly where the ball's going to be, even if it's 30 yards down the field on the boundary, and he gets there. And those are huge plays, but there are moments where if you ask him to come up over a slot receiver, you can see him a little sluggish with his feet, and where he's chasing a touch quick in a route, he's got the speed and quickness to catch up. It's just, if you were telling me in year 1 or year 2, I'm going to ask him to come up and play over a player like Hunter Renfrow, a real quick dude like that, I think he's going to lose in those situations. But he's also going to do things that almost nobody in the NFL can do, which is make huge plays down the field, breaking up passes. So, you'd have to be. It's almost a luxury to be thinking safety at 2. It just is.
The thing on Obama was like that. Like you said, the playmaking ability, like more than breaking up passes, I see him getting the ball and getting your offense another chance.
Yeah, he does some of those things. I would love him to be more productive in terms of that, but it's undeniable the things that he does well. It's just a matter of, do you value that at 2, or is it a scenario in which maybe if you were, and this is, if the Lions would have won one more game, they'd have picked 6, and then you'd be taking Kyle Hamilton and feeling pretty comfortable at it, which is nuts. What's the difference? And some of it is money, like you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And some of it's just the sheer value of taking edge rusher. I hope it's not quarterback, but edge rusher in this class, and then filling it out later in round 1 with a player like Penn State's Jaquan Brisker would be a pretty dynamic player for them at the back end of round 1. The idea that the Lions are going to take a wide receiver is talked about a lot, but I'm not sure, based on what we saw last year from them, that is the way we should be talking.
Well, Scott, as always, man, I appreciate your time, fountain of knowledge, and we're going to be leaning on you a lot. Coming up to the draft, you won't be a stranger around here, no doubt. And, guys, look, follow the man on Twitter. You hear the knowledge, you hear the information. I can't click the follow button for you. So do yourself a favor. If you like NFL draft coverage, which we all do, that's the guy to follow right there. He's sitting in that chair. But we'll get back with you, Scott, no doubt, as it rolls
awesome.
on. Yeah, thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Real quick,
Yes.
Am I a jerk for taking 30 items through the 15-item self-checkout when the lines are long everywhere? However, I'm a 4.2840 in checking out.
Jerk.
Are you in front of me in the line?
Yes.
Only if you're in front of me. If I'm not in the store, whatever.
There you go.
Right?
See?
I think you're good.
All right, cool. But I am a 4.2840 in checking out.
Yeah.
It's not a game. It's not a game. Appreciate the time, Scott, very
Who's
much.
running the clock?
Cintron World's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. The official energy drink of the Red Wings. Proud partners with the Detroit Pistons and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and obviously great taste, Cintron is a top choice. Buy online at CintronWorld.com with the promo code RedWings10. You'll save yourself 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brad Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, pulling up on the second hour of the show. Our guy Scott Bischoff kind enough to take one more segment with him. We could keep you here for a week, probably against your will, but we'll do one more. I can relate, no doubt about that. YouTube chat thread. Pat Riley says if the Lions took Trubisky and won their division once and made the playoffs twice in his first 4 years like Trubisky did, would that be a bust? Bears fans are hard on quarterbacks. And, that's the whole Carolina thing that, everybody is going to do. But we had a segment we wanted to do here, Scott, and that's the reason we kept you here, was if you redrafted the draft class from last year, and obviously I think the easy answer, well, Mac Jones went to the playoffs. Obviously, Mac Jones would be the guy. Knowing now what we've seen this year, and you seem pretty optimistic still on Trevor Lawrence given the conditions that he played in, how would you redraft that?
That is a really good question.
Oh, we got to turn your mic on real quick.
Oh, that's all right. Sam's got it. Sam, the audio guy, will come on out there.
Sam,
no, absolutely. No, but I mean, for me, obviously, Mac Jones is the easy answer, and that's something you could say. He had the most success. He looked the most NFL ready. But Mac Jones, to me, NFL-wise, was kind of similar to Tua. Now, he had a couple of games where he blew up, but he was, for the most part, he was a game manager that was put in positions to win. And he did the job because that's what he was. And do I overvalue accuracy, I guess, is my question. Do I overvalue accuracy? Because Mac Jones, that was the big selling point for me. You can't fake, and I know it's Alabama, and I know it's pitch and catch and all that, but you can't fake 70% completion percentage, man. You put balls in a window when you have that number.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's the biggest thing that the quarterbacks. How do I put this? There's a reason why Davis Mills is being talked about as a player who's earned another year, and it's because of his ability to process information super fast. And anybody looking at Mac Jones could see the same stuff. Now, the other guys are significantly more talented athletically, significantly more arm talent than say Mac Jones or Davis Mills. But they're behind in terms of processing and understanding if a defense is in cover 3 or cover whatever. Just understanding what a defense is trying to take away and where you can and can't go with the ball. And that's one of the things with Lawrence that you saw a lot was it just seemed like he was lost at times in putting the ball into dangerous places because he wasn't totally understanding what it was that he was seeing. And that's why I mentioned earlier, I don't know that he grew at Clemson. I'm not sure that Trevor Lawrence took strides as a player all that much because of how physically talented he was and how much he had around him. So he goes to a place where now it's chaos and confusion and the offense is not tailored for him at all. And he looks lost at times. And it's because he's behind trying to figure out what defenses are doing. There's no formula for that. So, I mean, I would still take Trevor Lawrence first.
Okay.
I still would because I think with Mac Jones, you're looking at a somewhat limited player. I think that was on display over the last 2 months of the season. Mm-hmm. Teams figured out some of that, and then there's limitations as far as what he can do with his arm and some of the athletic stuff. Now, that doesn't mean he's a bad athlete, because it's ridiculous to say, a guy his size runs mid 4.8s and is a bad athlete. No. It's just he's not quite the athlete that these other guys are, so the ceiling is higher for the other players. And I still think that exists. So then you look at Zach Wilson, and I think Zach Wilson played a lot better over the last 4 or 5 games he played than he did early. But it's going to take a little time for him. So I mean,
for me with Wilson, and I was watching the draft with my buddies like everybody else was. The thing that stuck out to me, and this is non-football related, and this could be this, I could be full of crap saying this. The look on his face when he got drafted by the Jets, to me, he just didn't have that kind of swagger. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't inspire confidence in me, I guess you would say. Like the look I saw on his face, like if I'm a $18 million a year defensive end with the New York Jets, and I see that guy walking up there, I'm like, you want me to follow this guy? Like you want me to die on the hill for this guy? I didn't get a lot of confidence.
See, I took
from
it
him
the other way. I took it almost like it was totally expected, and he'd already done the excited part, and he was already moved on. And I mean, with him, the whole thing about him is the moxie.
Yeah.
It's the hubris in which he plays. It's the desire to say, screw you. There's a little dinner plate down the field, 15 yards. I'm gonna hit it, and that's his thing. So, doing some of those things as a rookie and getting burned early, and then looking at the way he rallied his team, and I mean, just look at the last 6 weeks of what the Jets did. He's a different player now. Is he a perfect player? No. Is he ever going to be? No. But he does do things that other quarterbacks just can't do. I think we have to rein this conversation in a touch, because it's way too early, a little bit, to be having this conversation.
Oh, sure,
Like,
no doubt.
We could do the same thing about Mahomes after year one, and everybody would be talking about the Week 17 start that he had
Right.
and how great he looked. But then there's a little bit of he didn't play against anybody, and they were sitting people and. So that's the Trey Lance part. Is how do you evaluate Lance? I love Lance. I think Lance could be a really good quarterback. It just, didn't have much of an opportunity.
Right, and you do need the opportunity. Pat says Mac Jones would have ended up crying in the fetal position by week 6 if he was drafted by the Jaguars. He was carried by the Patriots' defense and the running game. And
there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, you think so?
That's fair.
I do, but I also think that we can't hold it against him either that he plays for the Patriots.
Yeah,
that's
really
part
of it.
Well. He
Yeah.
did nice things and the things that he was asked to do.
And the
that's their
Patriots
brand of football,
identified that too.
Yeah.
The Patriots identified that and said, this guy fits what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So
he knows his limitations.
Justin Fields is the one where I think there's a little bit of a desire to kind of reconfigure what he was as a player at Ohio State in terms of what he could be going forward with the Bears. And I mean, the ceiling is super big with him. He's got crazy good upside. It's just, can he ever develop into a player who? Well, let's start with this. Every quarterback is a scheme quarterback. They need a system, right?
Right.
I mean, so the idea that there's a quarterback out there who can play in any system is kind of like, I don't know. I mean, Mahomes plays in a system.
Yeah, life is a system play.
Yeah.
I mean, our lives are based on a system. We got to get in a system that works for us.
So does anybody think that the Jaguars put Trevor Lawrence in a great position for what he is as a player in year one?
No.
Zach Wilson? No.
That's why you got picked. That's why you got picked first or third or fourth. I mean, you're not going into a good
Justin
situation.
Fields was in a great scenario for what he is as a player? No.
Hell no.
Was Mac Jones?
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of it, right? So if you're, and that's the discussion going forward, is if you're drafting a quarterback, you really need to understand the things they do well and implement a system that works for the things they do well right away, or you see things like you saw with Trevor Lawrence all year, with him looking a little lost. I think things will look a little better for Lawrence going forward. I do.
Can I ask you about the Lions rookie class?
Yeah.
Quarterback's always fun to talk about, but I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Now, everyone loves Amon-Ra St. Brown, deservingly so, and the same thing with Penei Sewell. I haven't found where to fall with a guy, a second-round pick, in Levi Onwuzurike. What was your takeaway from him this season? And I guess the same with McNeil. I know he ultimately made the PFF, all rookie list, and that's sweet. I feel like he didn't really come on to the second half of the year, and he's supposed to be a run stuffer. We got ran over a lot. Like, what's your take with those two guys?
So again, year one is
tough.
I mean, I think that rookie seasons are tough for all of them. So going forward, like if they take Aidan Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeaux, gotta expect that it might be ugly at moments. McNeil. To watch him turn the corner for a big dude is ridiculous. I thought he was awesome. He didn't play a ton, but I think the upside and the long term, he's there. Onwuzurike is a different story. He plays very tall, and he needs to play lower, and not necessarily with more power, but just with better leverage and better pad level. I think that's one of the reasons why you can see him getting moved a little bit, because he's a big guy. Is he plays very tall, so there's a desire to stand straight up at the snap. So he's got to play a little lower. It's just going to take a little time. But with those two, it's intriguing going forward. I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's way too soon to say they've found their interior guys.
Yeah.
But I think I mean McNeil showed things that I did not think he would in year one. Onwuzurike kind of looked the way there were flashes. He's super disruptive. It's just, they got to grow as players.
So Scott, I'll leave you with this one then. We'll kind of wrap it up with this question for you. For the first time since the early 90s, I have faith in the people making the draft picks for the Detroit Lions. Am I justified in? I mean, I'm all in. And maybe I'm overreacting to one draft where they take guys in the draft and they actually are in the stat sheet throughout the season as it goes on. I'm all in with Brad Holmes. Am I overselling it or not?
No, not at all, because it's not just the draft. It's other things. It's moving on from Kenny Galladay. Smart move, right? I mean,
Amon-Ra St. Brown's entire contract with the Lions, what's left on it, is less than Kenny Galladay will make in the first 4 games next year.
Yeah.
I think people don't realize that. That's a huge, huge, huge deal.
It is, and it's also the reason why I wouldn't expect them to take a wide receiver early, because they didn't care to last year.
Yeah.
They're in a better situation now than they were last year.
Exactly.
I think when you look at being able to target a player like Jerry Jacobs as a free agent, some of the other players that they got to come in here and play at a high level, yeah, I mean, it's justified. The thing is that if, I know everybody's jaded here, but it's either you're all in and you're a slappy, or you're all out and it's so negative.
It's just the Lions, they suck.
Yeah. And the truth is that for the first time in a very long time, it doesn't feel like a wayward ship.
Bingo. That's exactly where I am. There's a course.
Yeah.
There's a course in the GPS, and there's a destination there. Scott, again, man, appreciate you. Very, very generous with your time, man. And like I said, we'll be tapping you as it comes up. Scott Bischoff, everybody, very best in this city, one of the best in the city, breaking down the NFL draft. Yeah. Follow him on Twitter. Do yourself a favor. I'm telling you guys, follow him on Twitter. NFL playoffs are here, everybody. With MyBookie, you can take home some of the biggest wins of the season thanks to their double deposit bonus. Sign up at mybookie.ag. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. That's right, folks. You're going to be sitting there watching all these games on television, and boom, before you know it, we'll be at the Super Bowl. March Madness will be here. Slide right into baseball. Golf's a lot of fun, too, to get that action in on. Sawyer will be betting NASCAR all the time with the Daytona 500. He'll be doing that as well. You can do it all on mybookie.ag. And look, they'll double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward. That's cool and everything like that. There's a slick interface on there. It's easy to navigate. You can see everything very, very clean. And if you guys have been doing this for a while, that's as important almost sometimes too. It's just being comfortable with the interface. MyBookie.ag is the answer. UFC's back in action this weekend. Get down on all of it. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
miss sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back at it. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, easy in the house. Ryan's reaction, our YouTube chat thread. Thank you very much for the time, Scott. Now, I echo those sentiments. And, guys, you're going to see Scott Bischoff more and more and more culminating here as we go through April. Was that any good right there? I mean, this guy, I'll say this, too. How that guy isn't like a fixture in Detroit sports media somewhere. There is nobody in this town that can sit there and talk NFL draft like he can. Nobody.
I 100% agree.
Mainstream media people, he'll do circles around those guys. And Scott's not like that. Like, he would never talk like that.
Yeah.
But I am like that. I'll talk like that because it's facts.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. That's when you said it. I was like, the best. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Hands down. And he's part of the team now here at Woodward Sports coming up soon. So I'm going to get him in that second studio. Maybe get him on the heavyweights or speak easy, too.
You better get him on the Woodward Heavyweights podcast, by the way. Tap in.
Shout out. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. I'll definitely I want to be on Woodward Heavyweights one day.
You got to be on Woodward Heavyweights. Yeah.
There's not like a weight, there's not like a weight limit or anything, right?
I got to talk to my partner.
Like a weight floor, you know what I'm saying?
We have a scale as soon as you step in the room.
Either you can come in or not. No, I like it. Subscribe, Woodward Heavyweights podcast. Our guy Easy on there, and they do a great job. Everyone's hyped for the Sawyer Motorsports Minute, by the way. People are starting to rumble about it.
Oh yeah, it's brewing.
I know
it's coming.
I know it is, and I can't wait because. Give me a taste. What do you got? And we reinstituted the 60 seconds because you tickled my fancy, I guess you could say, with the whole Netflix Formula One documentary.
Yeah. I mean, just like the long short of it is, ex-Formula One driver who now works for the FIA has come out and said that this whole debacle at the season finale is because of Netflix, and like he thinks Formula One has had to play up the drama and entertainment.
Okay, which is probably true. And guess what? Well, if that's the case, it's been good for business. Will there be? Mike wants to know. Will there be any talk of tire compounds?
I mean, if we have enough time, I'm always down to talk about tire compounds and performance and how they break it down throughout the weekend. The 3 different colors they do. Used to be a 5-color system. They had to cut it to 3. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot about tires that. Like once you go deeper.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, that's coming up in just a little bit here in the second hour. I do want to continue though that NFL, and I know we're going heavy NFL, but it's the playoffs. We were fortunate enough to have Scott in studio, and that's what we'll do. I'm hyped for what we're going to do for the draft, like the draft party situation. I'm hyped for that,
especially now things like a little bit more opened up, and like I feel like we vibe with the team a lot more now too. Like as a group, like Woodward Sports, like. Then at the first draft party, we were all like kind of just now meeting each other. Like now, like we rocks with each other. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, we are ready to go. But want to continue that discussion with the NFL playoffs. We talked about Bengals and Titans and the lack of buzz around the Titans, but we will see Bills against the Chiefs. I think that. Do you think this is the main course, the Bills-Chiefs game, or is it the Tom Brady versus Matt Stafford?
I feel like. This is the main course because this has been like budding. You know what I'm saying? Like even from like this season, like the Bills haven't been able to beat the Chiefs, but here they go at the beginning of this season, they put it on them. And I believe in KC that game was on national television, and then the Bills brought it to them. But at the same time, the big moments, the playoff spots, the Chiefs brought it to the Bills. Like this is it, man. This is the main course. My personal main course would be that Bengals-Titans game because I have no clue how to call it, but I can say the same with this game.
Yeah, and there's been some late steam as I perused the lines at mybookie.ag. The Chiefs right now sitting as a 2.5-point favorite. So that dipped down. I saw it as low as 1.5 at one point, and I think that's what it's going to be. If the Bills get to that 3 number, then boom, it'll be back down to 2.5, and it'll kind of bounce back and forth as that goes. But, and I've talked about this, the financial aspect. And when you look at the Chiefs, for me, I've always said that they're one of those teams that are kind of on a clock as well. And what do you mean by that? Well, I mean it like this, because as I talked about with Scott Bischoff, when you look at when Russell Wilson signed that deal with the Seahawks, and I'm not saying it's because of this, but I'm saying you can kind of draw a parallel to it. That was almost the day the music died for the Seahawks, just in that change of salary structure. And we're seeing it now with Patrick Mahomes this year. Not so much. I think he's like a $29 million contract number this year. But next year, $40.4 million. Chiefs have Tyreek Hill under a long-term big dollar deal as well. Easy, the clock is ticking on the Chiefs. That's how fast this stuff happens now in the NFL. And people talk about like draft cycles and player cycles. I think it's financial cycles that happen. And the Chiefs are going to be up against it, man, to not only keep the talent they have, to be players in free agency with Mahomes and that $40 million cap number that he's going to have going forward. The clock is ticking with the Chiefs.
I think the way they structured this deal, though, they're probably just fine. Like, you look at the numbers, they dwindle down as the years go on, and that gives you the ability to, hey, Tyreek Hill, obviously, you won a championship with this guy, Patrick Mahomes. We're paying him $40 million this year. Let's backload your contract. And that's traditionally how they go. They backload the contract in the years you're most likely to be cut and stuff like that. With Patrick Mahomes, they play it smart so they can re-sign these guys. They front-loaded it while they're still on the rookie deals, and now they're going to backload them on the re-up. You know what I'm saying? And that's where Patrick Mahomes, I'm looking at his contract right now, ooh.
No, I was going to say, Easy. You're shopping at the wrong store with that one, man, because that thing gets massive by the end of that deal. And they got a little bit of a window in 2024, but that's my point with the Chiefs. I think we're seeing this year, not necessarily the last stand, but I think you're seeing the end of the road is on the horizon. With all apologies to Boys to Men, you can see the end of the road with the Chiefs.
Maybe, man. They're damn good at what they do. They really are. I get Tyreek Hill's like a phenomenal player, and that's tough to find. But you got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. They've got like a lot of track stars out on that team, man. I think he can make it work. He's a damn good quarterback. I'm sorry. And then Eric, I was gonna say Eric Reed. Or is it Fisher? I'm drawing a blank here on the coach's name.
Eric Bieniemy, the coordinator.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid. Thank you. Okay. I said Eric Reid. He's been doing this thing for like a long time, even back to the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? And I think with the Packers before then, like, he's one of the offensive gurus in this league, and I feel like he's been like underestimated as a coach in this league for a long, long time. It took that Super Bowl for him to finally get his credit. It felt like I think they'll be around for a minute.
And I'm a big Chief slappy too, so you need to understand that, because I really enjoy the imagination with the offense, with Eric Bieniemy in the offense, or you want to say it's Andy Reid's offense, whoever offense it is. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs do things that nobody else does. Like last week, the little underhand pass to Kelsey for a touchdown and all that misdirection that they do. I love that. I'm a Chief slappy. I admit that. I am. But with all that being said, I just like watching them play. And for the Bills, do you get the feeling of the Bills almost like a Bad Boys Pistons / Red Wings when they were trying to win the cup feeling, where, because at some point you got to slay the dragon.
It is that. I mean, part of that, part of the steps to that and following that narrative was last week when they beat the living crap out of the Patriots, who've been torturing for 20 years. Like, that's actually a good take. I like that, Neil.
No, because I think that's what it is. Lions Rumble 81 says the Bills are on the rise. And at some point, though, you do have to break through the glass ceiling. You do. And it'll be interesting to see. That's why I thought that little lull that the Bills had, about 3/4 of the way through the season, I think that really cost them, because now they have to go to Kansas City instead of having Kansas City come to them. I really think if the Bills lose this game, obviously depending on how it shakes out, but I think if the Bills lose this game, that they can go back to that 3/4 mark of the season, and that little lull they went through, that could have possibly cost them a berth in the Super Bowl or whatever, because they have to go on the road and they have to do it. And there's no excuses. There's nothing you can say. You got to go in and do it. Period.
Yeah, they're healthy for the most part. Now, the thing in their favor is they did it on a big spotlight too. Like, again, national television earlier on the season. I can't pinpoint what was going wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs offense to begin the year. And then they somehow picked it up. I'm looking at their schedule, and it looks like they played like a lot of weaker teams later on in the year. The good defense they had played, were all kind of front-loaded in the schedules. I don't know if they actually solved their issue on offense versus rather just played bad teams in the back end.
Underhand says, official says the underhand pass was to McKinnon. That is true. I was talking about the Travis Kelce pass for the touchdown. He put it on a dime, by the way, too. It was sweet.
Yeah. And you're talking Bieniemy, like I don't think Bieniemy is like hyped up as what everyone's hyping him to be. Like, Andy Reid's been doing this for a long time. I remember the Eagles teams, man. Like, they were all cold too.
No, they were. He is. He's a great play caller. It's a lot of fun to watch the stuff that they do. That 4th down play last year when Mahomes was hurt in that playoff game against the Browns,
Chad Henne,
was incredible. Yes, was incredible. I mean, just the timing. Like, I'll watch that play in slow motion, man. Like, I love I love the imagination because you don't see other teams doing that. The Lions have never run a play cool like that.
I know, and they're just starting to do it a little bit though.
A little bit.
Amon-Ra, the backfield, running the football. Like,
yeah.
But I'm with you.
It's a little cool, I guess you could say.
Oh, it's really cool.
Something that's a lot cool in the home security game. Guardian Alarm, they get it, everybody. Good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm, state-of-the-art technology, helps you feel safe. 24/7 local monitoring, all that as well. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke and carbon monoxide. Even let you lock and unlock the doors, everyone. All right, we got to bring the heat this time. It's a Friday. We're getting ready for the Motorsports Minute. People want to call it 0 to 60 with Sawyer. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But in the meantime, to get down with Guardian Alarm, call 1-800.
Stay out!
That is 1-800.
Stay out!
That Guardian Alarm, the most trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe. They are your local security experts. Let's ride off into the weekend. 1-800.
Stay out! Get out of my house!
There it is, folks. Your local security experts. They are Guardian Alarm.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Easy in the building here today as well, filling in for D-Mac and Joy. Sam Sawyer, don't forget, coming up 50 minutes past the hour, the Motorsports Minute with Sawyer. People are coming up with some clever names, though. What do you think about that, 0 to 60 with Sawyer?
I mean, it sounds pretty good to me.
That is pretty
It's
dope.
a good one, yeah.
That is. I like that.
Is it zero? But I don't. Motorsports Minute, 0 to 60. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, they got a similar ring to it.
They could be.
I mean, they're both
poll.
getting to the same point. You know?
We'll put it on the poll for Monday, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. We'll have to rebrand it, though, you know?
Yeah.
Have to go through that whole process.
We'll do it on the poll for Monday. For today's poll here on the YouTube chat thread, am I a jerk for taking 30 items through the 15-item self-checkout? 60% say yes, 40% say no. But again, guys, I wear it personally when I'm in there with those extra items to even rise to the occasion and move quickly. You know what I'm saying? I take it serious to the point where I group everything in the shopping cart for maximum efficiency in terms of checking out. And I'm not putting just one thing in a bag and then pulling that bag off the rack and opening another one. I load those things up. Load them up. It's all about efficiency. I feel as though I'm more efficient with 30 than the normal person is with 10.
I just go back to Brucey. Give Brucey the ball. Give Brucey the ball. Brucey's got it.
That's just the way I feel. Mike G on our YouTube chat thread. Neil with his 30 items. Stay out. Dave Schultz, feels good to be listening to Woodward Sports again. Hadn't been able to listen in a while because of work. Dave, good to have you back, man. I always enjoy the people that wanna tap in. Don't forget about the podcast page as well. You know, you can do that and catch it if you miss it. Rewind it, fast forward.
Yeah.
Mickey Lum Phelps says 100% jerk. What? Come on, man. I don't know. I disagree. NFC playoffs getting rolling as well. The Buccaneers playing host to the Rams. Certainly the San Francisco 49ers visiting Green Bay. And I feel as though there might be, for my money, the most pressure on anyone in this playoffs, and no one's talking about this. It's got to be Aaron Rodgers, right, in the Packers? Because I keep hearing how great Aaron Rodgers is, and certainly he is good. Mm-hmm. Certainly he's great. He's got to get another one, right? Is there like kind of a Tom Izzo, stigma attached to it, where if you want to be at that level, the upper echelon, Ben Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls. I think at some point, Aaron Rodgers has to cash in another one, and he's getting up there in age right now, and we don't know what the future holds for him. Why isn't there more pressure on Aaron Rodgers? Why?
I think there is pressure on Aaron Rodgers, especially like everything he went through this past like year, like from the offseason into the Pat McAfee interview about the things we will not speak of, like just trying to like, I don't know, openly cancel himself. It feels like it's just, you know, you call a reporter a bum the other day. Like there's pressure, man. There's definitely pressure, but we also know, at least I feel like the real football minds know this guy is phenomenal. He's one of the greatest like football players that I've seen in my lifetime. Like one of the best. I'm a NFC North Detroit Lions fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm supposed to hate that man, but damn, do I love watching him throw that football.
There's
man.
a lot of Larry Bird to Aaron Rodgers for me, and I'm glad that I'm a little wiser now than I was when I was a little kid, and I hated the Celtics and hated Larry Bird to the point where I would turn it off if he was. I hated him that much. I feel that way about Aaron Rodgers. Like I disdain him mainly because of the way he's gutted the team that I root for. But I have taken some time in my older days and more wise days to take it in and watch him play. And not just hate him, not just dismiss him or anything like that. He is very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. But for me, if he doesn't win another Super Bowl, I'll be left wanting more from him. I will, and I don't know. Like, am I being unfair? I don't feel like I am.
You're not being unfair because that's like what I don't want to call them haters. I guess maybe you could say truthers. Maybe it's the reality, but that's the argument they bring up, right? Is like he's still failed. Like Adam is one who bashed Aaron Rodgers. He told me he'd rather have Devontae Adams than Aaron Rodgers one time in the morning show. I was like, you're out of your.
That's craziness.
Insane,
and Adam's
right?
my guy.
Yeah,
but that's craziness.
Yeah, but his argument is like, you know, he's been in the NFC Championship. He's only made it out once, you know, and like. He needs a second ring so that could be silenced because it just absolutely should. It's insane that's even like a thing. Like I said, the true football minds appreciate him for what he is. You know, he's out there running the football, and like a lot of people at one point credited his offensive line, but when you watch Aaron Rodgers highlights, it's a lot of him running back there, you know, running around, creating pockets himself, and then flinging it down there. Trust me, as a Detroit Lions fan, we've seen it millions of times. Like, it hurts, man. But he's great. But he does need it for the outside hate.
Creative on our YouTube chat thread says, totally watch Woodward Sports from downtown Nashville daily. I appreciate that. Now I like Nashville a lot, man. It's a lot of fun. I went through there with the family this summer. That was kind of like the vacation. We did the bourbon, you know, the bourbon trail a little bit, slide down into Nashville and everything. Nashville's a lot of fun. We have had a lot of fun in there because Nashville's cool. No, appreciate you tapping. You guys, that's another thing that amazes me, man. Like, San Diego and Nashville and Florida and everywhere in between that we're out there, man. We in these streets, easy.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing about the internet and bad things.
No, but we're talking about Aaron Rodgers right now. Patty Grimes, Aaron Rodgers 7-8 since he won a Super Bowl in the playoffs. And Patty, boom, exactly. Because that's been my thing with Peyton Manning. He's a 500 quarterback in the playoffs. You can say what you want. One of the greatest football minds, of course. But that's what he is. I'm not making that up. Mm-hmm. And that, he drops in my book because of that. He does, because there's no mystique to him when he was in the postseason. There never was. And a lot of people in the YouTube chat thread saying right now, Aaron Rodgers 1-4 in NFC championships. Those are facts.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's the stuff that people bring up. But once he gets another ring, it can't just be like the Super Bowl, because then he's got the LeBron thing going on where, you know, he's not 500, but another ring, then I feel like it silences a little bit. But at the same time, Neil, are you a QB stat guy? Are you a QB win guy? Is that like a stat to you? Because like a lot of the situations,
yeah, it has to be because I like Tua, and my main selling point for Tua is he wins football games.
Yeah,
it's never pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's never pretty, but he wins football games. He was a guy I wanted the Lions to take instead of Okudah.
There's just situations, and like I go back to like the NFC Championship with the Niners, went to the Super Bowl, ended up playing the Chiefs, which I think could happen again this year. Like as much as I love Aaron Rodgers, but like they just dominated them on the offensive side of the football, just running the football down their throat, just had the ball all game, kept it out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. Like certain situations like that, he just can't really do much about it, and that's where I'm like, you know. And the other thing too, like when you're in the playoffs and you have a subpar like record, yeah, you're in the playoffs, you're playing the best teams in the league. Like it's, you know, that's where you would get beat. You know what I'm saying? So like it's, I don't know, man. Football's a team game. The quarterback win thing, I'm not a big fan of it. I will, like you, selfishly use it when it benefits me. But
100%.
Ultimately,
man.
It's a team sport.
That's how this whole business works. What do you got, Sam?
Easy. I'm really glad you mentioned that because Aaron Rodgers has been let down many, many times in the playoffs. You didn't even mention, I think it was 2012 or 2013, when his defense gave up 45 points to the 49ers. Last year, Aaron Rodgers actually outplayed Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game, but they didn't win. There's many, and then if Brandon Bostic would have recovered that onside kick against the Seahawks, they would have went to the Super Bowl.
That game's crazy.
There's just, it's a team game. I'm not a fan at all of the quarterback win stats.
Ryan's reaction on the YouTube chat thread. Aaron Rodgers looks like he smokes Newports. Randy says, Manning had to get through Brady and Belichick and the best defenses ever. Rodgers took on who exactly? And that's my point. Like, if you're going to be in the top 5 discussion, you have to win another Super Bowl if you're him. And you know what?
Yeah.
At this point, and as guys throw around, and people throw around these numbers with Rodgers, Sawyer, can he get to that level?
I think he can.
Yeah, but I mean, you start bringing up, the record of the NFC championships and stuff. But it's all or nothing, though.
Yeah, I was gonna. This year's the year that he does. If he doesn't, I think he's out of Green Bay. He's going somewhere else next year, and then maybe he'll pull a Peyton Manning. Like, he'll win it somewhere else. But I don't know. Like, if he doesn't get it this year with the Packers, he's not getting another one with the Packers.
And as our YouTube chat thread people, maybe another team can drag his dead body across the goal line and win a Super Bowl.
Like a Denver Peyton Manning situation.
Yeah, get a prolific defense built and then just let him carry you to the promised land.
He should go to Denver, man. Denver or Pittsburgh. But I want to say this about the quarterback record thing. Because it gets brought up with Stafford, right? And that's when people are like, fight me on it. Like, oh, it's a team game. It's a team game. Here's the difference, right? In those games, bring up Aaron Rodgers' stats in those games. They're pretty. They're beautiful. You bring up Matt Stafford's stats here. By the way, Matthew Stafford's career wasn't wasted here in Detroit. Bring up his stats in those playoff games. They're boo-boo. Bring up Aaron Rodgers' stats in his playoff games. The one that you say he's 7 or 5-8, whatever the record is. I guarantee you they're a lot prettier. And that's where it comes into, like, you can't really use it against them.
Clomp Sauce on a YouTube chat thread says, no, he smokes Cools. Here's a developing situation, too. Adam Morency on the chat. And I didn't notice this till Adam brought it up. No flannel shirt today for Sam.
Yeah, I was getting ready to call you Flannel Sam, but you weren't wearing that.
I mean, every once in a while I have to switch it up a little bit, keep people guessing.
Okay.
Sawyer, what's your thoughts? I know you're a Carhartt / flannel guy from time to time.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, you got to take the cape off every once in a while. You can't be the vigilante every day. You can't be Batman every day. You got to be Bruce Wayne every once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody commented too about the West Michigan Whitecaps hat. Yeah, rocking the West Michigan Whitecaps hat. By the way, too, the T-shirt here. A very good friend of mine, Emily Walden, who covers baseball for Baseball America. A lot of people, if you're a baseball fan, you probably follow her on Twitter. Does a lot of great work with minor league stuff and everything that's going on.
I'm with Joey 2 times. Rodgers rolls his own cigarettes.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. That or American Spirit, whatever is like the hipster thing to do.
Yeah. So talk about Emily Walden. This is she was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and Emily's obviously very, very young. Great friend of mine, good friend of a lot of people out there that are baseball fans, and RotoWire here has made these shirts here to help Emily, financially, because again, for some kind of reason here in America, when you get sick, you bear this tremendous financial cost, and now she's going through the cancer treatments and things like that. They're donating 100% of the proceeds of the sale to Emily to kind of help her with financial and medical bills and all that kind of stuff. So, again, go to RotoWire on their website there. You can buy if you want to help out as well. And we'll get Emily on the show coming up here in a little bit to talk baseball. To do some normalcy and to talk baseball with her. She's very good at what she does, too. So just wanted to put that out there as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, got to talk about the other NFC playoff game. Stafford going against Tom Brady. He got kind of the bye against that broken Cardinals team. Now it's Vince to get real in those streets for him, just like it's real on a Saturday night for me when I have some Gypsy vodka, 50 different formulas, countless taste tests. Gypsy, the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. We can talk about the technicals, right? Gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times, artesian spring water. That's fine if you're into that. Cool-looking bottle. That's fine if you're into that. I'm more concerned with what's inside the bottle. And good vodka is inside the bottle. It's a staple on my bar at home. You know how I do it. Get the cup with ice, put the Gypsy in there, one more hit of Gypsy, get the club soda, drop some limes in there, stir it up, away we go. We're rocking on a Saturday night because Gypsy Vodka is just good vodka. It's the best vodka going out there. When you roll, hey, get 30 bottles of it and go through the checkout lane, the 15-item limit checkout lane. No one will give you a dirty look if you're rolling up with 30 bottles of Gypsy Vodka. Though, would that count as just one item? I don't know. There's some people out there that's been debated as well. There is no debate in the vodka market. It's Gypsy Vodka. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name. As always, drink responsibly.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
No off-season for us. We're talking sports. 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Easy in the house. Always like running with Easy. Sam and Sawyer as well. Don't forget, about 10 minutes away from Sawyer's Motorsports Minute. You get 60 seconds on the clock and 60 seconds only. And if he's not done, doesn't matter. Sam will kill the clock. But he's got a good one. I'm intrigued to hear this one. Big Formula One guy because of Netflix. And there's some Netflix documentary drama, I guess, that he has ready to roll. Sean Murphy. Neil's transitions to the Gypsy Vodka ad read is simply elite. Makes me laugh every time. Well, Sean, I appreciate it, man.
I literally texted Neil yesterday. I was like, your transition game, your ad read is fire.
I've been doing it a long time, man. Like I should be good at it by now. You know, I've been doing this a long time, so that's probably why. Doughboy Steve, who wins a beard chugging contest, Stafford or Rodgers? I think that was proven before. Joey, 2 times. Rodgers rolls his own cigarettes because he doesn't trust the filters or big tobacco uses for some dumbass reason. Oh man, everybody makes me laugh. Matt Stafford. You know, you can't take it away. He won a playoff game, so the people that say he's never won a playoff game, you can't really bring that up anymore. Or if you're me, you can say, hey, they essentially had a working bye because that Arizona team was broken. I think that I've been calling for that for a very long time. We saw the warning signs out there, but it doesn't matter. 100%. You win, you advance, you go on. But he's got all the smoke he can handle right now going into the road, into Tampa, and squaring off with Tom Brady. A bit depleted, the Buccaneers are. But, you know, you can't make any excuses for me. If Matt Stafford goes in there and beats Tom Brady, I don't care if they're a bit depleted or not. You go into Tampa and win, you've done something. But on the flip side of that coin, you're 1-4 in the playoffs if you lose. This is why I love playoff football, and I think why everybody loves playoff football, because we talked about Rodgers with absolutes. This is an absolute with Matt Stafford. It is, man. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I as like a Stafford truther, I'll call myself. I won't call myself a hater. I'll call myself a truther. I'll have to shut the hell up because I won't be able to say anything. Because not only did he beat a solid team in the Bucs, but he beat the GOAT, Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to give all due credit with that one. I will say we saw Zach Wilson carve those boys up. They're gonna be missing a couple offensive linemen. We know it depends what fashion they win the game, but I expect Matthew Stafford to perform well. Like I said, the rookie Zach Wilson. Yeah, Rams in this one for sure.
Ooh, you see the certainty too that he had with that. On our YouTube chat there, by the way, Woodward Sports put up the link to rotoware.com if you want to buy one of Emily Walden's T-shirts and help Emily's fight against breast cancer. Please do so. Good friend of mine, very good person as well, and I want to see her. She's going to take this challenge head on, and guess what? I know who's going to win in that battle. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a referendum game. Rich says, is Brady at his best right now? If so, what does that really say about Stafford if Stafford beats him? And look, Tom Brady's got house money until he's done playing. Like all the hay's in the barn with Tom Brady. There's nothing he can do further. There's nothing he can do to hurt his legacy outside of being Joe Namath with the Rams or something like that, where you just or Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals, where it's just.
Abysmal.
It ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But this is all a season full of discussion. And me for the draft pick, the Stafford fans, the Stafford haters, an entire year of discussion comes down to this weekend. It does, for real. I mean,
Yeah.
all the chips are in the middle of the table. I'm not, I don't think I'm overselling this, man. It's what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. And one of the strengths of the Buccaneers team last year, you would say, is their defense. And people don't carry that same narrative into this game, especially if Stafford wins. I already know, man. Listen, I had to do battle on Twitter. I usually never read my replies. When it comes to like the Stafford stuff, I just have to. I'm a truther, man. You guys got to open your eyes. You got to bird box it, baby. Like, this kid, man, like, you got to just chill out a little bit. But if he beats these Buccaneers and Tom Brady too, you can't say nothing, man. And it comes down to this game. Because like you said, the Cardinals is a cakewalk. I don't think maybe you find someone who thought the Cardinals were going to win. But, hey, guess what? Even the defense put up 7 points for them. You know what I'm saying? You put you and I behind center. We would have got you another touchdown. Cam Akers get you another quarter, another 2 points and win that game. But, like, this one comes down to it. And I think they win.
See, and I know, and I want to say that the Rams are going to win too. And you guys know me. I've been pretty consistent, I think, with the Rams. And I'm not a Matt Stafford hater. He's a very good player in the NFL. You can't have the kind of numbers he had and the sustainability he's had if you're not a very good player. Mm-hmm. He is. I mean, he's not elite. I don't think I'm breaking any ground with that. I'm talking like elite, like look at the other ones around him. If you line up all these quarterbacks that are in the playoffs right now, he ain't in front of Brady, right? Fair, obviously.
Definitely not.
He's not. I don't think he's in front of Mahomes.
Hell no.
He's not in front of Rodgers.
Nope.
We're already halfway through the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
not in front of Allen. Yeah, probably maybe above Burrow and definitely Tannehill. Probably the two.
Probably Tannehill, and just based on resumes to this point, I think you got to put him ahead. You got to put him ahead of Burrow. I mean, that's to be determined, though. As it goes on, we may see that change. But you see where I'm getting at with that? Like, as you go through those names, he's bottom third of those names that are in the playoffs right now. But the only thing that's going to change that perception is going in and win. Like, it is. And that's why I love the playoffs, man. It's all on the line for this guy.
Can I ask you this? Because I actually... What you hear a lot is him and the comparisons to Favre. I'm not gonna lie, like I was really young when Brett Favre was a thing. I watched him in his later years when he was with the Jets and like a couple years with Green Bay. I remember that one of the best NFC Championship games was Green Bay and the Giants, one of like the Ice Bowl, I guess you want to call it, one of them. But where's that comparison for you? Because you actually watched Favre in his entirety. Like, is there similarities in that? Was Brett Favre better than Stafford? Is Stafford better than Favre? Like,
I'm not a Favre guy because. You know, you go. The interception record is the record in sports that will never, ever be broken.
Stafford might touch it, bro.
No, he's not even close.
Since entering the league, he's number one.
Not even close. But look at that list. Look at those numbers on that list. He's still not in Favre's stratosphere for interceptions. And Favre, he was very good. I equate those guys. Those guys are similar to me. And I know people are going to say you're crazy because Favre won a Super Bowl and everything like that. But here's the thing, and I'm getting some heat right now. Epic says, quote, "I'm not a hater." The Neil rant before he starts hating. I think that was fair what I said about Stafford. And it's been consistent. The thing that I bought in with the Rams, and this has been all season long, is Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. These are elite dudes on defense. And throughout the course of the season, has the Rams defense had, ebbs and flows? Sure they have, but it's go time now. And these guys are elite. Some of the best to do it at their position. And I think that's the trump card that the Rams have. And it's going to be tough for Brady to win this game. Now, can we say that, Stafford's been very good this year? I think this season really describes Matt Stafford's career. Like there's been great moments and there's been elite moments where he's been incredible, but he also had the pick six in 3 straight games and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good microcosm of what he is as a player.
No, yeah. That's what he does. But here's the thing. I said it a little bit earlier too, but like we've seen this Bucs secondary carved up throughout the season. Whether it be week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys, which we agreed Dak isn't all that. He's like more of a dink and dunk style guy. That's how you're going to win football games with him. Even to Zach Wilson, where they got really close there. Antonio Brown made his exit with almost booty naked. But but no, this he's going to win. The narrative's going to change. But I'm leaning towards like it being a team win. Much like it was last week too. Like the offensive line's depleted for these Bucs. You have Aaron Donald, who's an all-time great. You have Jalen Ramsey, who may very well be another all-time great.
Who will be a benefactor of that pressure that's probably created from the lack. Because I fell for this last year in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. When you take out the tackles, like a number 1 overall pick in the draft in Eric Fisher.
Running them.
Yeah. I mean, he was running for his life from second one, man. And that's where you can't fake that. You can't get away with it. And I won't fall for that again. And that's why to me, I would probably shade Rams in this game. But at the same time, I'm not going to make that excuse for the Bucs and hate on Stafford and say
it's Tom Brady, though.
Right, it is Tom Brady, and that's why if the Rams win, I'm not gonna hate on Stafford. When you went on the road in the playoffs, you went on the road in the playoffs.
Yes.
When you beat Tom Brady, you beat Tom Brady, and that's it. And does it exercise his Lions demons? I don't think so. I think we're all gonna feel the way that we feel about it.
Yeah, and it's being real. This is being real of what he is. Like you said, like he's not elite, but he's damn good.
Sure,
and you can't deny it.
Detroit Dabber 313 just ordered my shirt. That's pretty cool, man. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah,
Shout
that is awesome. Lions Rumble 81 says that's awesome. Detroit Dabber 313. So, no, appreciate it. If you can, buy a T-shirt. It's the Emily's Fight T-shirt here from RotoWire, and support somebody that's going through the battle right now. You can follow Woodward Sports, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch. You already know what it is. And I reminded you already, the Big D Energy Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, the iTunes Store, click subscribe. Latest episodes go right to your phone. Rewind, fast forward, all that. Rewind it and go back to that draft talk with Scott Bischoff. I can't wait to talk to Scott again because we will. When we come back, Motorsports Minute, everybody. Get the clock ready. Sam, I need that trigger finger ready to roll. Motorsports Minute with Sawyer when we come back. It's Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network.
That's not winning, Joik!
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
The pros know. Go! Listen Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
Coming down the stretch here, final segment of the week on Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network. I'll have the radio play-by-play call tomorrow. The Golden Grizzlies at Green Bay, so make sure you tap into that. They had to change the game time. That'll be 1 o'clock Eastern because in Green Bay, something pretty big is going on tomorrow. So, Packers game going on. But speaking of big, this may be the biggest media segment in American sports media as far as motorsports are concerned. We talked about how elite Scott Bischoff is with the draft. I would contend that Sawyer is as elite with motorsports as there is in this town. Roger Penske, you need to holler at my guy Sawyer over here because he's about ready to take you to the Motorsports Minute. We got the clock ready?
Oh, yeah.
More importantly than that, Sam, you have the trigger finger ready?
Oh, yeah.
When that clock hits, I don't want any of this tomfoolery that we had last week. You gotta pull the plug at 60 seconds, okay?
I got it.
All right, hey, you guys, you love it. Here it is. It's a Motorsports Minute with Sawyer. Start the clock.
All righty. So today we got ourselves a doozy. So I saw this the other day. John Watson, ex-Formula One driver, has actually come out and said that he's kind of blaming the Netflix series Drive to Survive on the whole dilemma at the end of the Formula One season, saying that they're catering too much entertainment into that to get more people to watch on Netflix or keep that viewership. And I kind of think that's some garbage. I can see how that goes into it, but let's be honest, this sport was not big in America, but around the world it's been huge since the 1950s, 1960s. Everybody's been watching this, so they've had to cater to entertaining factors for so long. And this is just another thing added on top of it. So I don't really believe that that's the statement. I believe that it was just a miscommunication on sorts, and they need to figure out the way they handle radio communication between the teams, because that's where the main problem is, in my opinion. Just the fact that somebody can make a ruling, and then I could hop on the radio and just question the guy's call, is just not right and should not work in Formula One, and that's just...
That time we had to cut him off. He almost made it to the end, everybody. But you know what, though, Sawyer? It was a good Motorsports Minute because it leads me to a follow-up question.
Oh, there we go.
You, being the Formula One elite, do you buy that at all? Because I would say even if that is true, still good for Formula One. Because if you guys haven't watched it, and I poke fun at motorsports and everything like that, that Netflix documentary about Formula One was fire. It was cool. Do that. Turn the surround sound on and everything with it. Incredible. I fired through the episodes, man. I thought it was great. I watched all of them. Are they planning to do that again, by the way?
Yeah. They're in next year and I think the year after too. But they caught some fire at the end of the last season because there's some things where people who are real into Formula One and watch all the races and just watch all the content they put out, that Netflix actually fabricated a couple storylines in last season's Drive to Survive. So that kind of made me and my buddies a little frustrated. There was a scene during the Austrian Grand Prix where Lando Norris, who races for McLaren, and his ex-teammate Carlos Sainz, who was at McLaren at the time, who now races for Ferrari, they bumped into each other on track. And they took a radio message from Lando that happened a race or two before of him calling some other driver an idiot and took out the driver's name and then just played it. And so it was oh, this dude's an idiot. So then they made a whole fake storyline about inter-team drama that wasn't really there. So everybody was just torching Netflix on that. But overall, they do a fantastic job. If they just stick to the story and not try and make stuff up for, I guess, kind of clickbaity or to get people more into it, then it'd be fantastic. But
maybe the conspiracy's true though because they did get caught up, falsifying that beef last time. So
I don't think though the FIA would let Netflix dictate the end of a worldwide championship though. And we've seen this before, big dramatic finishes to championships. It was in the 90s when we had Senna, it wasn't Prost, it was Senna and somebody else going into turn 1 at Suzuka. Whoever won this race finishes first or above wins it, and if Senna, if they both crashed out, Senna wins the championship. Going into turn 1, first lap of the race, Senna just takes out his competitor. What? Championship's over, he wins it because they crashed. Michael Schumacher does the same thing, and I think South Africa takes out his rival. I don't want to get the name wrong. I believe it was Nigel Mansell, but he takes him out.
So you're saying he tanked?
Well, can't really confirm or not that they tanked. They always say I was going for a gap that was there, and then the guy pulled over in front of me.
So it's okay. So
there is some stuff like that.
When you tank in Formula One, it's cool, but I root for the Lions to lose when they can't make the playoffs, and I'm an a-hole.
They're winning a championship when they're tanking, though.
I was gonna say same thing with the tie.
Wait till Kayvon Thibodeaux goes to the Hall of Fame.
There it is, right there.
Lions Rumble clock. 81. Formula One isn't huge here at all. Only when they come to Belle Isle. Well, Lions Rumble, that's IndyCar that comes to Belle Isle.
Got to go to Texas for the Formula One.
Ooh,
everything's bigger in Texas.
I got elite on there. You like it? You
snooty
proud?
Formula One vibes there for a sec, huh? We don't race in Michigan anymore.
Wrapping up the YouTube poll, 62% of people said that I was a jerk for going through the self-checkout lane, the 15-item limit self-checkout lane with 30 items. You guys are wrong because
are you going to change your ways?
There. No, I may throw 35 items in there now just to defy everybody, and I'll go even faster. I'll go even faster through it. How about that?
I just picture you fumbling, but you're thinking you're going fast.
I rise to the occasion.
They stop you at the door like, hey, sir, you're stealing that. You didn't scan that.
Rack asked in the thread, I missed the link to the shirt for RotoWear for Emily Walden that I'm wearing here. The link is in the YouTube chat thread right now, so you get a good job of Woodward Sports people here to put that link up there. Certainly do appreciate that. So we are ready to roll. Ryan's reaction says, any sport hosted in Dubai is fire. What do you got, Sawyer?
Just a little tie-up on the old Motorsports Minute Drive to Survive talk. Robert Colosia, my colleague in the motorsports world, comes in the YouTube chat and says, Drive to Survive Season 4 will drop March 11th on Netflix. So
I'm in.
Keep it tuned. Put it in your queue. Get caught up on the first 3 seasons.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff to watch.
I did not watch Season 3. I will admit that. Maybe I should go back. But I don't know, though. We got Ozark. Ozark dropped today, right?
Ooh.
I've never watched Ozark.
You never watched Ozark?
Mm-mm.
So you'd love Ozark.
It's a good show, man.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of Book of Boba Fett right now. Getting disappointed because it's too Disneyfied. But dude, the last episode literally had Power Rangers in it.
What?
What is this?
Come on, bro.
I mean, they weren't obviously literal Power Rangers, but you get what I'm saying. There was some cheesy Disney stuff that isn't Star Wars.
Yeah. Any Cobra Kai guys?
No, absolutely. Good show today, everybody. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Big thanks to Scott Bischoff for coming through here. We'll be talking to him a lot. I can't wait because I'm dorky like that.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm a big draft dork, as you guys know. So for Easy, Sawyer, and Sam, my name is Neil Rule. Thanks for listening and watching Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Have a great weekend. Well, see you later.
Gang, gang.